just on my podcast, I want to make sure everyone knows who this man is to me. This is my childhood friend, man, from so many years ago. We met in the 8th grade, and he, from the moment, bro, from the moment, man, changed my life, man. You have been one of the greatest influences to me. You may not have heard me say that, man, but I want you to
Respect.
know today, and I want the people to know, this guy got me to read for myself. This
Accomplishments.
guy got me
Nah,
to
I
read for
appreciate that, bro.
myself. You know what I'm saying? And my man, my thing is acting up here. But I'm gonna try to. Yeah, bro. You have always challenged, even us as a group at high school, man. You've always challenged us to think more, to read more, to get more knowledge and understanding. And yeah, bro. You I didn't even say your name. Everyone, Brandon Goborn.
Yo, yo,
Brandon
thank you.
Goborn,
Yo,
man. Yeah, bro.
first of all, the what you just said, the intro, I'm not even really worthy of, bro. I'm
Oh,
just,
come on, man.
I love you, and we just
I
doing
love
this
you
just
too,
straight
man.
out of
We
love. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, word up. I'm happy to be on your show, and I'm happy that you even thought of the idea to even put me on something like this, bro. For
Oh,
real, for real,
absolutely,
bro.
man. I mean,
Thank you.
I know. I mean, we talked about this from before, man. I always wanted to get you on a specific topic. I've
Yeah.
always appreciated your mindset on certain things, man. And we just wanna we want to rap about this, man. Not literally, because I'm not a rapper, bro. We already tried that out about 10 years ago. That tried
I
failed.
remember. I remember. I
That
remember.
failed.
Top
So
flight.
oh shoot, man. But we want to discuss, man, what the hell is going on in America. What happened in the US Capitol,
Mhm.
how these things are necessarily affecting us today, and what this means, what this means to us as a people. What does it mean to our mindset in contingency to the world? What does it mean to our Christian message? And yeah, let's just kind of delve into this, man, and just go on with the discussion. We free flow, and we talk it through, because I
Yeah.
think this is an important thing. It just happened here, January 6th. um I told you this already, but I was having a podcast with this guy I just interviewed, and we were like, oh, it's January 6th, nothing happened yet. We're 2021 is being good on us. And then, like, as soon as I finished this conversation with the dude, 2 minutes later, my phone is blowing up because I had it on airplane mode.
Yeah.
Whenever I interview, I had it on airplane mode, and then 2 minutes later, U.S. Capitol, U.S. Capitol. I was like, what the heck, man?
And you're in Canada.
I'm in Canada, bro. I'm in Canada now. I left, bro. I try to
Right.
tell y'all to keep coming over the border. Y'all still want to stay up there in New York. Y'all want to stay out there, whatever, man. I'm like, yo, I left.
I
I'm
should
out.
have when I had the chance. I should have when I had the chance.
Mercy,
But
man.
you
Yo,
right though.
Brandon. Yo, can
First,
you tell us a little bit more about yourself too, like who you are, what you're doing right now too, man?
oh yeah, absolutely. Who am I? So first and foremost, I'm a teacher. I teach
That's dope.
elementary school in Harlem. Also, I consider myself to be like an artist. Not just through music, but like
Yeah.
through all forms of expression as well. A scholar as well. Graduate student. I don't know. I'm just an overall nerd, pretty much. Overall nerd.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a thinker, creator, stuff like that.
That's what's up,
So
man. That's what's
yeah,
up.
man. But
Yeah, man.
you're 100% right. How about that for a first week of 2021,
It's crazy,
huh?
man. Not I definitely did not expect that in that way. And I think that there's so much behind what happened there that we're still not even privy to. And I think that kind of brings us to the first point of basically what happened
Right,
on January, like what actually really did happen on January 6th.
right,
Because there's so many different points of views from, especially if you go on social media, you got so many different people saying this happened, but this happened, but this didn't happen. So
right.
what really happened on Wednesday, man?
Just watching the news, or I was watching CNN, and you see the reporters that are in the crowd, and you see the images of people fighting with the Capitol Police, and then the National Guard coming way longer, and then them fighting with them,
Yeah,
and then crushing windows to try to break in, and then you see them in the what's it called with the dome? I forgot the name of the place in the Capitol,
Yeah.
but I and then later on you have more reports of pipe bombs found in cars and crosses and
Mm.
the gallows and then all these
Crosses too.
guns. Yeah, they had, well, not burning
Okay.
crosses, but they
Right.
erected huge wooden crosses around the area and gallows
Wow.
with nooses attached to them.
Yeah, I saw
So
the gallows. Yeah.
yeah, so at first you think that this is a huge group of angry people who just stormed the Capitol, but I think later on we're now learning that this is more than just people who are angry, right? This is people who had a plan, who
Mhm.
came into the Capitol with intentions to cause harm and violence to lawmakers in hopes to change the results of an election that is already through and through over. So, as we learn more, just so put it like this, I read this in an article. When 9/11 first happened, we originally just saw it as the planes flying into the towers.
Yep.
But as time went on and on, we started to learn more about what actually happened. And that's what's going on now. And it seems like this was a full fledged violent insurrection in an attempt to overturn United States election, which is crazy
It's a
just
damn
saying
shame.
it.
Yeah. I mean,
You
like
know what I'm saying?
that statement alone is ridiculous.
Yes,
It should
led by
not
the president.
led by the bread. As much as people don't want to say this or don't want to admit it, who are on the other side, let's say of
Right, right,
conservatives,
right,
they this was led by your president. He
right,
caused certain ways in which he spoke, certain
right,
things that were said, certain
right,
directions. I mean,
right,
even from I still like this is a whole other discussion in and of itself. But the whole fact that my dude says stand down and
Stand-
stand by. I your your use of whatever you want to use as words has definitely been detrimental to the American people as a whole, and he doesn't want to hold accountability to that. And that just doesn't make any sense to me at all, man.
right. And he tries to do it in a way where he incites his people, but also wants to rid himself of the
Of
accountability that
blame,
comes with
yeah,
that. Right. So you can't say we're gonna march to Capitol Hill and I'm gonna be marching with you, and you can't be weak. You have to be strong. And
right.
then all of a sudden say it wasn't me who told them to go to the Capitol and show force. That you can't disconnect yourself after you've seen what you the effects of what you've done. And
The guy's smarter than what many people think
oh,
he
Trump
is.
is definitely smart,
I think
without a doubt.
people they try to doubt. Oh, this is he's a dumb president. Blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. Let's be real.
No,
He's not
no,
stupid. This
no,
man, and as much as some things may have done that he may have failed in his businesses, whatever the case may be, he is not a fool. This guy
no.
knows he is foolish, but he
Right,
is not a fool in mind. The guy knows what he's doing. He's very tactical, man. He's very
without a doubt.
tactical in what he's doing. There's no way you can grab that many people's attention as a non-politician and an individual who has come in basically out of nowhere into the political sphere and
Right,
grab that type of power in the
right,
minds. It's not just power physically, it's power in the minds of people. We
right.
we can't discredit that.
No,
We
without a
can't
doubt.
discredit that.
You can't ignore 70 million votes. 70 million people voted for him. So you can't I mean, like you said,
Wow,
he may be foolish, but the end of the day, he knows how to rile up. He's a charismatic person.
that's
He
facts.
knows his base. He knows how to rile them up.
That's
And
facts.
that's the issue with the issue with Trump is that he doesn't play by the rules. He's
Mm,
willing to do whatever is necessary to get to himself to the position that he wants to be in. And that's sort of been his MO. And all this started with Obama's birtherism and
yeah,
him making
yeah,
the claim that Obama is not even an American.
yep.
And once he found his base, he was able to ride that wave into a presidency and break. So he's called a breaker. I was reading this article today. A
Yeah.
breaker is someone who wishes to break the norms and traditions by any means in order to achieve power. And
Mm,
that's essentially what he's ridden that wave to be. He found a base that was willing to support him. That's why he won't go against people like the Proud Boys or the QAnon.
mm.
And he rides that wave to get himself to the positions he wants to be in, you know?
He has the
And
numbers.
he has the numbers.
Yeah.
He also And that's why he refuses to go against anybody who supports them, no matter what their own beliefs are. So
Mm.
if you're a white supremacist and you support Trump, he won't go against you because his whole
Because
thing
you're
is
wow.
right. He needs your support to get himself to the people. He's a sociopath, egomaniac, right? But he dumb is not one word I would use to
No,
describe him. Yeah, I agree with you. But
it's crazy. Let's be real, man. Did you ever think in your time in life that we would see an attack? 'Cause as much as these politicians don't want to say it, and it's pissing me to freak off, but this was a domestic terrorist attack
yeah,
that hit the U.S. Capitol. When have we ever seen this in life?
yeah,
When have we ever
not in,
seen this?
I mean, not. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is like Civil War times. Like that's like
Oh
the
yeah.
only thing. I mean, majorly. I mean, so I was just telling you this before, yo. I'm tired of living through historical moments, bro.
Mm.
Like if we could go 2 months without a historical moment, I would be great. You know what I'm
I
saying?
appreciate that.
And I don't want to live through no more textbooks no more because this is
Yeah,
getting heavy,
yeah.
because like you said, when I turned on the news and I saw these people running into the Capitol, right?
Mm.
The first thing I thought of
So that's a
obviously,
fact number one. That's fact number one. There were people who ran into the Capitol, no matter
without a
what,
doubt,
and they were white. And there was that
yes,
one black dude.
large majority. They had to get him
Yeah, I
on
had to have
camera.
one. Oh my freaking father! When I saw it, I was like, "This."
Come on, bro. Yeah, but
So we have a group of white people who have definitely stormed the U.S. Capitol. That's fact number one.
yes. Yeah. And another fact is that, and I don't think that this is stated enough. The fact is that they came into the building with intentions to do harm.
Yes,
This is not like they just came in there to sit on the floor and hold up signs.
they had
They came
firearms,
in
right?
with firearms,
Yeah.
explosives. They ransacked the offices. They came in there with intention to terrorize,
Right.
commit harm, and to put fear into people's life. That's
Right.
a fact. You
Fact.
can't dispute that. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a fact. As much as the some people on the right may try to say that this was just a form of protest,
No.
protests don't involve bringing explosives, pipe bombs, and guns into a government
Or
building
nooses
or hanging up
and
nooses.
gallows and yeah.
Doesn't happen. And not to mention, as we find out later, people were killed. 5 people now, I
Yeah,
believe, have been
that's a shame.
confirmed
Yeah.
killed. Yeah, during this.
Were
And
those all like supporters of Trump or
I mean, I know for a fact the one woman,
the
I
one?
forgot
Yeah.
her name, was a Trump supporter who got killed
Hmm.
inside the Capitol, and one officer who they found out later was stampeded by a mob of
Stop
Trump
playing,
supporters.
bro.
That was a police officer. Yeah, that was
Oh
a
my
police officer.
gosh.
And yeah, those and the other three, unfortunately, I don't know enough information about the other three.
Right.
But I only know those two. But 5 people in total at least
So
have
there was
come
a
out.
cop that was killed.
There was a cop that was killed.
So
Yeah.
why is this not even more broadcasted like as an issue? What's going on here?
I mean, the first thing I saw while watching the images is that you have people holding up the blue stripe flag, which is the Blue Lives Matter flag, who are at the same time punching, kicking over, and pushing out the way police. So it just brings up an even more, interesting thing that you could have people who are quote unquote in support of law and order, in support of police officers,
Hmm.
and in support of police funding in general, and at the same time have these people when they're angry, you know,
All hell
push
breaks loose.
act, yeah, have act violence towards police officers, as
Right.
we saw on Wednesday. So, I it just shows one of the many blaring contradictions in Trumpism. I don't even want to call it republicanism anymore because now
Mm.
what Trump has done is created a subset within republicanism that obviously the right is going to have to figure out now. But I yeah, uh that's what's happened. 5 people were killed. And also now more people of the Trump mob are beginning to get arrested across the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
So the
So
two names you mentioned, just so if anyone is listening, um, it's Ashley Babbitt and the that's the woman who was killed, and the cop that was killed was Bryan Sicknick.
Mm.
Bryan
Yeah.
Sicknick. Those are the two names of the individuals who got killed, including there was three others, but we don't know exactly at this point.
Yeah. And rest in peace to them and their family. You know, regardless
Absolutely,
of their political beliefs, like
absolutely,
any type of death to of a loved one is hard on the soul.
absolutely,
So rest in peace to them and peace to their family. Yeah.
absolutely, man. One thing that so one of the things that people are trying to figure out is this fact or fiction in the sense of was Antifa involved in this attack?
Right.
And right now, if you go through social media, there are tons of people who are posting about Antifa, the fact that Antifa was the one were the ones who actually started the terrorist attacks, and they were
Mm-hmm.
the ones who stormed in. Um, but once again, you have many people who are saying that this is not Antifa, that this is just the mob of Trump supporters that were across the street where Donald Trump was
Right.
primarily, and crossed over to the other side.
Right.
So what's where are we at with this discussion? Where are we at with this rationale?
In my personal opinion, I think that the fact that you're able to have these conspiracy theories, such as Antifa being
Mm,
involved with this movement, is just an effect of constant lying by the president, which
mm,
opens the doors to alternate realities.
right.
So what it, yeah, were you gonna say something,
No, no,
Mark?
no. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
So if you have the president of the United States, who's
Mhm.
supposed to be the leader of the quote unquote free roll, who is constantly lying, not just propaganda, lying
Right.
outright to the people, what it does is that it causes them to question what they see with their eyes and what they hear with their ears. And then all of a sudden, you're able to plug in these conspiracy theories, such as Antifa, who's
Hmm.
actually leading this movement. And actually, they give it merit because they don't know what reality is anymore because they've had it removed from actual reality. So now they're stuck in between what feels to be truth and what is actually truth. And the Antifa argument that they're making feels like something that's true based on the lies that they've been given by
Mm,
President Trump. So now what we have now is just my answer to what you're saying is I doubt it highly that
me too.
Antifa has to do with
Yeah,
this.
me too.
But the more important point to me is that how can you now prove that to someone who's on the Trump side? I
Check
don't think that. Yeah,
check this. Check this.
yeah,
Because I see some videos of people who are using, for instance, we saw the video of the cop that opens up the barrier for them to come in, right?
yes,
So check
yeah,
this out. We're like, yo, you see, these cops are wilding out. They allow these dudes to come in. Guess what the right is saying, bro? They're
what?
saying the right that some of these cops were involved with Antifa to let
That's
to, to let them get inside in order for them to mess up this image of the Trump administration and the image of the Trump supporters. And so the cops are behind this.
yeah,
The
this
right that has been so pro um uh uh cops
police.
with
Yeah,
police with even to this day I don't understand this concept. How is the American flag changed the color? Isn't that disrespectful to the flag? Like I don't
I mean,
understand what's going on here. Because I thought that any fabrication, any change or deliberate action that would not necessarily show the same steps that
right,
white, red, white, red, white, red, white, and all the 50 stars, anything that would deliberately alter the flag would be a complete act of rebellion and disrespectful. I thought that's what it meant. Apparently, it doesn't mean that to white people, but and yo, sorry guys, I'm on my podcast. If you're mad, you're mad. Have fun. But this is what we're talking about here because this is a real issue and this is what's going on. As a black man, we have seen what has been going on in America for too long.
yeah,
And this is a real issue. White privilege is a real big issue. If you still have issues with that statement, like they say,
yeah.
check your privilege. But so how first of all, that's allowed. Second of all, Now we're seeing this whole polarization. So the point of this is we're using this as to say, look, the cops let them in, and they're using it to say, oh, look, the cops let Antifa in. So, so it's like, and just like we try to prove, we when I type some stuff up on Google, there was a whole bunch of videos when I said what really happened on January 6th at the U.S. Capitol. The videos popped up first. Where are the articles? Where are the people?
Right.
Where are the facts? Where are the stats that show
Right.
what really happened here? There's
Right.
something happening, bro.
It's gonna be hard pressed to find, especially because now you could type in quote unquote what actually happened, and you get two completely different stories, and
Absolutely.
they're from major news outlets.
Mm,
So it's just I don't know, the war, like I was saying this before, and I don't want to keep on beating this drum, but the war on information is very real, and it's inflamed by social media and large major new media outlets, and it's hard to say what is considered to be truth and not truth anymore, especially within the last 4 years. So, I mean, who knows? And I want to know, like, Antifa is just like the spook that just stays in the room, huh? It's kind of like the ghost that's
uh,
always watching. Is that what's going on? It's
apparently,
just like
because
blame it on Antifa.
yeah,
What is that?
it's like
Yeah,
they were in St. Louis, and next thing you know, they're up here in Washington D.C. Like, of course. I don't
and,
know. I don't get the fascination as to how they're trying to link this directly to Antifa. When the Trump supporters were right, how did they know that they would go to the US Capitol right away? Unless there was things that were leaked. I mean, you kind of alluded to this in the beginning. There were shirts that were made for this. There were like you said, they brought firearms, they brought bombs, they
right,
brought the gallows with the noose. This was premeditated. This was
without a
clearly
doubt.
premeditated, and there's no line out of that. And so I think at
Two,
this point, and I'll finish with that point is I think I almost feel like some Trump supporters don't want to believe that they're capable of doing something like this. I'm
right.
like, like this is who you are. Don't be mad.
And this is what the leader Trump of these people has been spewing for the last uh at least year now,
Right?
4 years
He's
actually.
incited it.
Yeah, and there's two things I want to say on this.
Sure.
First, well, I guess really one. First, we have to change the image of who we perceive to be a white supremacist. White supremacists are not just ignorant, poor, white people, right? What we've seen is that lawmakers, police officers, firefighters, politicians, even professors in some instances have been seen at this rally and have been seen storming into the Capitol. So the image that, oh, these people are just dumb, they don't really know what they're doing, is really just like a scapegoat for them. No, these are people who are educated, these are people who are financially comfortable, who are making the active decision to support this man Trump and storm the Capitol or do whatever races not race whatever bidding that he says to do. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that you brought up an interesting point. We have to question, how is it that the Capitol got stormed so easily
Yes.
when this was premeditated, obviously,
Yes.
throughout social media for the last couple of weeks now?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know just my wife's grandfather was a vet, and he was like, the Capitol is like Fort Knox, you can't break into that. So the
Bro,
fact that they just kind of strolled in there is mind-blowing. Yeah, it makes you question, like, was there something else happening there that we will maybe learn later on? Yeah,
I think I told you this before. There's my side, there's your side, and there's the truth.
yeah,
Right now, I think what's happening is we're seeing two polarizing sides, and we need to figure out what truly happened. What is the truth behind this whole deliberate, and I'm going to repeat this, domestic terrorist attack?
right.
Um, it's 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 very heartbreaking. I'll say this, Brandon,
Mm,
because one of the things that has happened, and actually, before I get to that point, there's some comments here. Somebody says it's how they make them think. Literally read Hitler's Uprising. He only got as far as he did because he came in sheep's costume. I think
Yeah.
that's highly true. Even the Bible talks about be wary of those who come in sheep's clothing because they speak well to you, but ultimately they're there to hurt you and to hunt you. So yes, absolutely, I'm big understanding with that for sure. And also, amen. It ain't just the poor. Yes, Brandon, I'm not even gonna front. Thank you for that. I actually have
Yeah.
a question for you before I get
Yeah.
to the next point. Can black people be white supremacists?
Absolutely. I
Mm,
personally think so. And I think uh, I
mm,
agree. I do think that it's possible. I think that it is, to me, one of the most bewildering uh theories, concepts that I've ever but it is possible to me. And
bro.
I don't understand it. I
Bro,
don't
I'm laughing
understand.
right now because my friends showed me this video of this group of people who are saying FBLM, FBLM, and in the front of it, black dude.
The black dude. Yeah,
It's just like, what the freak are you doing, bro? What are you talking? Like, bro, it blew my mind. It blew my mind, and I
it
can't
is
wrap it around the fact that someone and you know what I think, Brandon? I think it's more so because they don't understand what their what their culture, what their people have gone through. I feel, and I could be wrong in this. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like most people, black people who are actually Trump supporters, have not necessarily gone into the culture of being black, what it
yeah,
means to be black. They haven't necessarily they didn't grow up in the hood. They didn't grow up
right,
in areas that are that are infused with more black people. They probably
right,
grew up in white areas where they're probably thinking to themselves, just pick up yourself with your bootstraps and do better because this is America.
right,
Um, and I've seen this. It's just I don't think that most of them can understand the black struggle because
right,
they've only been around either white people or people in power, so they don't necessarily uh, what's the word here? They don't necessarily understand or correlate with what we've been through and what some of us continuously go through today, not just in
right,
the past, but what we're going through now.
right.
But yeah, bro, I had to ask a question: could black people be white supremacists, man?
Yeah, and one thing, people, black people who do align themselves with white supremacists
Mm-hmm.
probably don't feel a connectedness to blackness. So, for
Mm,
example, if when the part of the reason why black people feel hurt when they see things like George Floyd get murdered on television is that they feel like that could have been my cousin, or that could have been me, or that could have been my
mm-hmm.
son, and they feel a connectedness with that.
Yeah,
I don't
you're right.
think black people who are who hold white supremacist beliefs feel that connectedness to other black experiences.
Mm,
And that's how I think they're able to embrace that mindset. But it's still baffling to me
yeah,
nonetheless. I
absolutely.
don't have an answer for you really why. I really
Absolutely,
don't.
man. Let's get to this point here, man.
Yeah.
So many people, and this is the hardest disheartening part about this whole matter is the fact that people on the right now have said, oh well, this happened, but look at BLM, look what they did, and how they destroyed X, Y, and Z, blah 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 blah. Can we differentiate what happened with BLM and what happened on Wednesday? What are the major differences between what happened on the U.S. Capitol domestic terrorist attack and the peaceful protests that that black people were having, especially in the months of June, July, for oppressive reasons? What were the what are some of the major
Difference.
differentiations here?
The main difference is whiteness. I'm just be point blank,
Yeah,
period.
let's put it
The,
out there,
that's
man.
that's the main difference.
Yeah.
The difference is that, okay, so on one side you have people, multiracial movement, that felt inclined to go out and protest because they witnessed a lynching on television. And
Mm,
not just George Floyd, right? I want to
mm-hmm.
remind people, back in 2016 with Ferguson, there's
Mm-hmm. Come
really
on, man.
there's been a whole like spew of just killing after killing after killing after killing, and then backed with an acquittal, an acquittal, an acquittal, you know, of these police officers for years. And I don't mean just like I mean, like on television, straight up, Twitter, Instagram, news. You've seen black people get slaughtered, and people felt inclined to go out and protest when George Floyd was murdered, and felt so inclined to commit certain acts of violence. I will say that because there were people who got hurt, and there were
Mm-hmm.
people who vandalized and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But in response to a constant spew of murder without um consequence or
Yeah.
punishment.
Punish. Yeah.
That's one side. The other side is you have a group of people who feel like they're quote unquote revolutionaries because they're inspired by a bigot who really just manipulated their minds into thinking that they are under attack by God knows what. They're under attack by a made up enemy called Antifa who just seeks to take away everything they have. And in their minds, they became a revolutionary in an imaginary war and went out and and caused havoc on a government, not even just a random government building, the heart of America, which is the US Capitol in Washington, D.C. So, in short, the two differences, one is in response to murder without punishment, and one is in response to an imaginary enemy. And in an effort to save white supremacy.
I,
I
I
mean,
I think that's right there is the crux of it all. In order to
yeah.
save white supremacy, because ultimately, what are they really fighting for? They're
Mm-hmm.
fighting to keep a man in power. Why is
Right.
this man? How did this man get in power in the first place? Let's be real, white supremacy. Because
Without doubt.
because the way that his whole political agenda was used was in order to the I and I will say this from the jump. It was in order to divide. Look at the country since 2016. It's one of the greatest divides we have ever seen. Might as well call it the second great schism,
Yes.
because like right now we are either completely left and completely right. Shoot, do the other way. Completely left and completely right. And the thing is, and we talked about this from before too, but that also causes for truth to be muddled, because if truth is being said on the right in any way, shape, or form, the people on the left don't want to hear it because it's coming from the right. If truth is
Right.
being said in the left in any way, shape, or form, they don't want to hear it because it's coming from the left. And
Right.
so people do not know how to differentiate the truth for being the truth instead of hearing the truth from a specific person. And so just
Right.
because it comes from someone, it cannot be truth. And that causes a lot of friction as well in that sense. But like you said, man, it's white supremacy that has allowed him to be here in this position. And second of all, we see also the fact that they want to keep him in power in order for them to continue to be the way that they want to be, make
Right.
America great again. This when was the country great? During Civil War, during the times where who was it great for? Yeah, you're right. You
Right.
know what? All right, it was great according to whose perspective?
Right.
Mine? No. According to my our descendants? No. According to maybe your great grandparents? Hey, you know what? Maybe it was great. Because some
Right.
people said, "Oh, the '50s were great, Roaring '20s, the
To
'30s
who?
not so good." But but like
Yeah.
for who exactly? For who? And so
Right.
that's why you're right. Absolutely, it shows they want to stay in power.
Yeah.
This is
And
their fight. They
and
want to stay in power.
one thing that is sort of within that claim is yes, they're in a fight to stay in power, but the other side is that they feel their power is threatened.
It's right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I think what the election of Barack Obama did was make them realize we might not be in power for much longer.
Hmm.
And what Trump did was fuel into that by saying, well, he's not even born in this country, so he's not even legitimate. And what that does is say, you know what, my power is in is in threat. My power is threatened. My position is threatened. This man is obviously fighting to maintain my position of power. So
Yeah,
let me ride with him. You know what I'm saying? And I
absolutely,
say
brother.
it all the time. Everything we're seeing now is because of the election of Barack Obama. It is
I
in
agree.
reaction.
I
It is
agree.
in reaction of it. You know
Hmm.
what that has done is send this country into a schism, like you said. Okay, we're either gonna be cool with this. We're in a new America where we can elect a black president, which
Hmm.
is a myth in itself. We are not in a new America because we had a black president. But I just want to say people
Hmm.
think that. And what that has done is create a schism, like you said. Now we're either going to be for this quote unquote new America, or we're going to try to ride with the old America where we maintain our position of power. And that's why slogans like "Make America Great Again" are so profound, even though they don't even mean anything in real life. It's a dog whistle to people who want to maintain their position of power.
I agree, man. I
Yeah,
agree. I
without a
think
doubt.
it's a I'm a keep saying this is a shame that you and I even have to be in this kind of conversation, man.
Yeah,
Because
and I saw sorry, in
no,
the
go ahead.
comments, I just saw someone say it's the fact that we have to separate BLM and the US resurrect insurrection on Wednesday is irritating.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
absolutely, absolutely, man.
I agree with you. The fact that we have to say, okay, BLM was different from people who tried to overtake the government is it just shows the state of where this country is, right? Okay, guys, just want to let you know, black people getting murdered is not the same thing as white supremacists fighting for their position of power. Like that just seems like such an obvious fact. you know?
Why, yo, bro? I don't get like it's kind of it really irritates me. I'm not even gonna front. I'm not even gonna front, man. It really irritates me that someone could say, "Yo, look, this man is oppressed and he's trying to fight for his life,"
Right.
compared to we're trying to stay in power through this white man who wants to continue to domineer America. You can't see. And so, bro, I'm on Facebook, and
Right.
this guy kept talking about on one of my brother-in-law's posts. And I apologize because of my tone, not necessarily because of and you know this is how I am. I try to find way, but bro. I want to tell you, I was very berating towards the dude, man. I was just so I ended up
You let him have it.
like 4 hours later. I was like, yo, bro, I apologize. Not, but the facts are the facts. I was like, but you know, I shouldn't have come because I called it. I think I called him a mule.
Mm.
And- because he was like, "Get off your high horse." I was like, "Bro, you are a horse with blinders on," and I was like, "You're basically acting
Wait,
like
he
a
told
mule."
you get off your high horse?
Bro, what? All right. So what happened was he's like, "Yo, BLM is basically the same thing as what happened on Wednesday." I'm like, "Bro, are you really that stupid? Like, do you really? Can you really believe that you're seeing two different things, two different people fighting for two different things, acting two different ways?" And and I was like, second of all, don't even try to front here. When the heck did black people ever go into the U.S. Capitol? What,
Uh,
show me besides the one dude who walked in with everybody else. What group of Black Lives Matter walked in to the U.S. Capitol to cause harm, to cause senators to end up wanting to hide themselves? And what's crazy, you know, some people put posts to say that, oh, look at the same people who are telling our children to go to war are the ones hiding. What, yo, do you hear yourself? Do you hear? You walked in with firearms,
yeah, without a doubt.
and you
You
tell him, bro. So long story short, wasn't even that long of a story, but I just kept coming at the dude. He was like, "Oh, look, Black Lives Matter had guns." I'm like, it's it's not unlawful to walk around with guns in a public area where the law says that you could open carry. I was like, they
right.
didn't walk into a government building with those guns to try to concede power. Are you not seeing the difference
Yes.
here?
Just the fact that you walked into the US Capitol is privilege in itself. Because if that was a black group of people, the massacre would have went down in world history. Can you imagine if black
Absolutely,
people stormed the US
absolutely,
Capitol and took
absolutely.
with bombs and guns? That would have been the biggest single day massacre
Massacre.
without a doubt. That's
Bro,
why
they
that's
would
why it's
have
not the
blown up
same.
the U.S. Capitol and said we need to rebuild
Itself.
it just to make sure, but we just didn't want them to take over, and that's how much we
Itself.
love this country. That's what,
Right.
like,
What? It can't
bro.
be the same. The fact that okay, yes, both sides had guns at their events
Yes,
at one point.
absolutely.
They stormed the US Capitol
Hmm.
and ended a congressional meeting that was trying to certify the election of a presidency. Like you
What is your
there
motive?
yeah,
What,
yo you
bro?
I like I just if you can't understand that storming the United States Capitol is different from bringing guns to a Black Lives Matter rally, then honestly, we can't even talk. You're
Big
just in a
facts.
different, you're in a different world.
Big facts. That's
You're
real.
just in a different world than me,
That's real.
and I don't know. That's yeah. That's kind of what I was talking about before. The constant lying, creating alternate versions of reality, and that's where we're at now. And I don't know how or if the United States can recover from the big lies that have been said for the last 4 years. I don't know. I really
Mm,
don't know, because it just because Trump is gone does not mean Trumpism is gone, and
mm,
we have
that's real.
an uphill battle ahead of us, because you have now 70 million people at least who believe that Trump should have been the rightful leader of this country and that the election was rigged by the person who is currently the president of the country. Well,
Do you,
will be the president of the country.
do you think that civil war is ahead?
I don't know. I don't know if it will get to that point. I don't know, but I don't mean I don't know in an optimistic sense. I
Yeah,
mean literally
I don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
agnostic. I do not know, and I can't know. I don't know what's going to lie ahead, because put it like this. I read this one where Timothy Snyder is a scholar on totalitarianism, and he said in 1923 is when Hitler had his first failed coup, and then in 1933 is when Hitler had his first successful coup. So this
Wow.
this
Wow.
was this was a failed coup right here in 2021 by Trump, and who's to say what doors this is now opened? You know, this can now be the blueprint for what might happen in the future. So I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know what's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be a hell of a time for the next few years. I know that,
yeah.
and
Yeah, man.
yeah, I
Uh,
don't know. But I if you don't mind, I just wanted to read this quote from I think like a really important book. It's only like 3 sentences. If
sure.
we have some time, do we have time still?
Absolutely. Yeah, we got time, man.
I know we're clicking.
I think
Um,
yeah, we still got time.
so real quick, this is a quote from the book How Fascism Works by Jason Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
The Politics of Us and Them. Um, it's just a book that outlines 10 characteristics of fascist politics.
Mm-hmm.
And in chapter 4, titled Unreality, he says this: fascist politics exchanges reality for the pronouncements of a single individual or perhaps a political party.
Mm.
Regular and repeated obvious lying is part of the process by which fascist politics destroys the information space. A fascist leader can replace truth with power, ultimately lying without consequence. By replacing the world with a person, fascist politics makes us unstable to assess arguments from a common standard. The fascist politician possesses specific techniques to destroy information spaces and break down reality.
Wow.
And I think that's exactly
What we've
what
seen.
the constant lying over the last 4 years has done to lead up to that movement, or that riot rather, on Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, as you were reading that, Brandon, I I just saw the last 4 years. Every single word you kept saying, I was just like, sounds very familiar. Sounds very familiar. Yep, yep. Sounds
Yeah.
about right. Yep, absolutely. I mean, think
And
about it. Even when he said, "Oh, I called the National Guard as soon as that happened." Bro, what are you
yes.
smoking? What
Yes.
did
Yeah.
are we blind? Did we not see what you said in that video? Did we not see how long it took you to even put a video out? Did
Right.
did the National Guard end up coming? Did anyone, like, how long it took for any sort of extra military or police force to come to the building? It
Yes.
it was it was actually quite like I was so confused as
Yeah.
how much time it took. The
Yeah.
the greatest secure, according to America, one of the most secure countries with the greatest military, took that long
Right.
to get into the U.S. Capitol with an O. That's how long it took.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and,
Quick.
and now we want to say that we want to believe all the things that he's saying.
Yeah.
We're
It's
in trouble,
just
man.
it's numbing. Honestly, it's
Mm,
numbing. And like you referenced to before, right? When you have constant lying,
Yeah.
even small lies, like what you said, the National Guard, I called them as soon as that happened. That's a lie. But when you have constant lying, constant small lies, medium lies, big lies, then what it does is it debases reality.
Mm,
Now we don't know what is real. And for 70 million people, the only thing that is real is what
it's what
comes
he
from this
says.
man's
Yeah.
mouth. And
Yeah.
and that that type of power goes beyond presidency. You know, when even when he's not president, people will still have that question in their mind as to whether or not this election was rigged or not. And those lies that he said will carry on past his presidency when he's a regular citizen. And I'm curious to know how that's gonna impact this country.
I mean, even as you're talking about that, the whole concept of misinformation, truth, and lies, from the jump, his whole how he got so much people to follow him was on the lie that Obama was not American. It
Right.
started with a lie, and
Yes,
it's ending with
exactly.
a lie. Like
Without it, yeah.
everything is from the very beginning to the very end. And like I said, I believe that many people have been blinded in this sense.
Yeah,
But it's also it's just infuriating to see, man. Just because so many people have been hurt in the process, and others are not realizing the hurt that is caused to many Americans
right.
all around, and not just Americans. I'm seeing it in Canada, man. You got people who are flying like Trump flags. I'm like, bro, do you
Without
even
a
have a
doubt.
United States citizenship?
in
Oh,
in Jap- in Japan, I saw a Trump rally in Japan
stop
with,
playing.
with Trump flags in I guess Japanese and written in Japanese, "Make America Great Again." So
Wow.
it's just the consequence of his constant lying not only poses a danger to America, but like you're saying, to the world. And he's like you said, he's not dumb. He's a charismatic speaker. Um, I'm very interested to see how post President Trump really is going to affect the world.
So what
I
we saw is I just want to bring
Yeah,
this dualistic mind sight real quick. We saw the world fighting for Black lives in
right,
June and July. First time I've ever seen that, where in
right,
the UK people were standing up, in South Korea people were standing up, in Australia,
yes,
in Africa, like everywhere people were standing up, in Canada for Black lives. But now, and baffling because I didn't know this. You're telling me that I knew about Canada, but I was like, well, they're right across the border, X, Y, and Z. But you tell me even in Japan, so that means there are people, there are major and realize I feel like it's Trump supporters all the way throughout many different countries. Because what I hear people say is not I want the U.S. politics. I hear people say that they would like to see Trump as their president too.
right.
They don't say they want our politics or they want our system. They just say, oh, it would be good to have Trump as a president because over here they'll be like, I live in Alberta, and so over here it's very conservative. So they'll say,
Mm,
um, they have a whole bunch of F Trudeau stuff like that, right? And so they'll say, I can't. I wish we didn't have Trudeau. I wish we had Trump. Not
right.
even
And
someone else in the conservative party. They keep saying Trump.
yeah, and one thing, so I just seen my man Lorenzo just commented. He's saying that the only thing that Trump wants to do is go down in history. And Zoe, I
Wow,
think I
that's real.
and and I think what you're
That's real.
alluding to is exactly one of the things that makes Trump so dangerous. Trump is
Mm,
not I don't think Trump is actually trying to fight for an ideology. Trump
mm,
is only interested in his own positioning, his
yeah,
own power, his
yeah.
own image. So if it means that I need to embrace white supremacy to make myself in a greater position of power, he's willing to do that. And
Wow,
Trump is all about himself. And yes, Zoe, I agree with you. He wants
that's
to
real.
go down in history and by any means necessary. And that's the part that makes him so
That's
dangerous.
real.
By any means necessary. Yeah. So
That's
Zoe,
crazy.
I agree with you. Thank you for that, man. But yeah, just to your point, the the fascination with Trumpism is that there is no political platform behind it.
Mm,
It's simply Trump himself. And if you think about it, I guess that's not that crazy of a concept because Trump is only about himself, you know?
oh,
And
yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
and and he's for himself by any means necessary, whether it means lying, whether it means embracing white supremacists, whether it means making deals with a foreign nation in order to maintain his power. He is willing to do what he needs to do to position himself, and that's probably one of the reasons why his presidency failed after one term. had he
Mm,
been had he been someone who was willing to embrace ideology such that, and I don't agree with this, I just want to make this clear, I'm making this as a comparison to Hitler, who embraced the ideology that Jews have a plan to take over the world. Hitler embraced that ideology, which helps his platform because now he's fighting for something. The issue with Trumpism is that his fascist politics never fought for ideology. He only fought for
for
himself,
himself. Mm,
which eventually caused his little ride to fizz out in terms of his
yeah.
presidency. We'll see what happens afterwards. But
So it will
Trump
never,
is
it
for
won't
himself.
be as strong because it's not necessarily for an ideology. Because
Like
that ideology, for instance, if we bring it back to the whole concept of Hitler, that ideology was able to unify all of Germany,
right.
basically. Not,
Yes.
not, not. Of course, there were many insurrections, people who did not agree X, Y, and Z, but ultimately we were able to unify Germany against
Right.
the Jews.
Right.
Over here, he's still polarizing a whole um I'd say even, well, maybe not half, but at least, well, let's just say half. There's still a half part of this nation that are polarized, just because the ideology has nothing to do about them, because ultimately it all has to do about him. So
Right.
yeah, that's a very, I really like the point that you just made there, man. It makes
Yeah.
very beautiful sense.
And he's willing to adhere to any person or group or thinking that will favor him because he's only focused on maintaining him and
Yeah,
himself.
yeah.
So that's why, you hear some people who say Trump isn't really racist.
Hmm.
And I think that there's room for people who think that because I think he's racist. I'm not saying that he's not racist.
Yeah, yeah,
I think he is a racist person, but I think that there's room for people to say that he's not because he's like a chameleon. He'll change colors for anything in order to
yeah,
maintain himself.
yeah.
And I think that's like Lorenzo said in the comment, that's one of the things that makes him dangerous.
Mm,
It's I don't know. I can't this country is going to be an interesting place when Trump is not president because like
mm.
I said before, you can't ignore 70 million votes.
No, you can't.
Can't, can't ignore that.
Especially you can't ignore the 70 million votes that were so hurt that
Hmm.
their vote seems as though their vote was misproportioned or not seen. And what we're seeing is they feel as though at this point, this whole thing was rigged. This whole thing was fabricated, and so they are hurt. And I think one
Right.
of the worst groups of people to hurt in this world is a white man's pride. Let's be
Yeah,
real. That's the worst group to hurt, because a white man's pride will lead to some serious stuff.
without a doubt.
See
And
it all the time.
yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, they, the white Protestant male has positioned himself to be the top of the social hierarchy for a long time now, and they have been willing to imperialize the world, to colonialize the world, in an effort to maintain that position, whether it be India, China, Africa, Australia, South America, North America. They have been willing to murder in an effort to maintain that position. So we'll see what happens next. We'll
Yo,
see what happens.
question has been asked. Can I ask, do you guys think he cared about a second term? I
Uh,
actually don't know, bro. Like, I actually, well, okay, I'll say from my perspective, I wonder if he knew. First of all, okay, I'll say this. Remember, Trump cares about himself. Okay, number one. So let's jump back to 2016. I don't think he thought he was ever going to be president. I think all of this was to build himself and his brand, right?
right.
Because apparently he was supposed to come out with some sort of station, um, there was this production that was going to come out, and it was going to be able to move people to the fact that hey, look, I ran for president, but I don't think he actually thought he was going to win.
Mm,
So now, with that being said, you have 4 years of him once again just focusing upon himself. I don't think he, and this is me. I think he wants to be a president because of the power ultimately that it gives him, and the authority that it gives him, and
mm-hmm.
the access that it gives him to people. So I think that's why he wanted to be presidency. I also think that he wanted to be presidency because, or state president, because of the fact that there's actually some claims that could be that could bring him to court in New York. And so I do think that there are multiple reasons why this dude wanted to stay second term. However, I also don't think that he cared enough, because ultimately, like you said, it's all about him. So as long as the press, as long as everything is focused on him, I think it's just going to continue in that light. So second term or not, all eyes are still on me, and I think that's where that's ultimately that's all he cares about. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
can't fully answer the question
yeah,
because I actually don't know his mind and I can't judge his heart.
right.
However, I don't I, I don't think he cares. Ultimately, the eyes are still on him.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think only being president allowed him to get to the position that he's in. Like as you remember there was a debate before as to whether or not a president could get charged with a crime, and he tried to make it clear that a president cannot be charged with a
Yeah,
crime. So now, okay, bet if I'm president, that means I can't get charged, or I can self-pardon myself or anyone who is with me. Bet let me become president because now I'm able to move how I'm able to move without any type of punishment. So in that perspective, being president was helpful for him to get to where he needs to get. If he really wanted to get to the second term, I think it would have been nice for him, but I don't think it really matters to him anymore because now he's gained the army or the following that he needs to be able to get him to the position he wants to be in. But I'm interested to know if, like you said, in New York, for example, if these criminal charges are going to actually get to him, like, is he going to be facing time? Is he going to is he going to get arrested? Or is he going to come up with a team that's able to support him and get him out of it? I don't know. But I don't think the presidency matters too much for him anymore. Like I said, you can't ignore 70 million votes. So I don't know. But you know what? One thing I tell you this, I think this insurrection was a bad look for him. It was a bad look for him because it forces people. All right, let me say not say people. It forces Republicans, which was supposed to be his political party, to make a decision to say, am I for this or am I not for this? So he's kind of splitting up his own supporting group. So I don't think this was a good look for him. But I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
you
We'll
made
see.
mention to something, Brandon. Too. You said that, if I'm not mistaken, and quote me if I'm wrong, but you said the white Protestant man or male is one of the most powerful individuals who have tried to keep their power. Is that what you said, or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's very interesting that you use the word Protestant, because that deals with the whole concept of Christianity,
Right.
and I think, and so hear me out. I'm a pastor, right? I work in a church, um, and, I'm upset. I'm very upset, man.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you why I'm upset. I'm upset because, and this is my personal view, and this is not just my personal view. I believe, according to how the Bible is said, that certain things are seen.
Mm.
Trump walked around with a Bible in his hand, in order to prove that he's for the Christian message. Even the way he held it, bro. Even the way he held it was just, it was something wrong with that, man. It was just something completely wrong with it, man. But
Right.
one of the problems that many people have had is, throughout the world, and especially in America, why would I be a Christian if these are the Christians who are following after Trump? So we have a
Mm-hmm.
whole group of Christians who are following after Trump in this way. And I personally, I don't see, and you know what? I know this is gonna cause some people to be upset, but I have a hard time seeing how you can be a Christian and follow this man in any way, shape, or form. So we have a whole evangelist, the white evangelists. We have many Protestants who have decided to follow suit and follow after Trump's regime.
Mm,
And I believe that Christianity is being attacked because of that. Because people are even saying, "Why? Like, what's the point? Why would I want to follow a religion that follows him?" And
mm,
but this is not the religion in its totality. And so, and actually, and I say this before, but even when you look at the characterization of Jesus Christ, Jesus is a man that doesn't even look for power.
mm,
If you think about the whole concept behind his reason of coming on earth, many Jews thought that Jesus was supposed to come magnificently to take over, to take them away from the power that the Romans had at that point of time in their lives, and he was supposed to um, bring the dominance and the majesty of the Jewish Israel nation, and for them to now reign. But
mm,
Jesus decided to come as a poorly as a babe, and to go through as even the Bible says, foxes have holes, birds have nests, but the Son of Man doesn't have a place to rest his head. He came basically, he was walking around as a nomad, homeless. And they're like, this is this is the Black Panther. This is your king. This is your king. And and he's like,
yeah,
yo, listen, I am the Messiah. Ended up
yeah,
getting him killed because he decided to not stand for world dominance, but he decided to stand for ultimately eternal life.
mm,
And in doing so, he was for the oppressed. He
mm,
was for the people who were hurt. He was for the people who did not care about so much money and about so much power and pride. But yet we're seeing these people as the Christian base following Trump.
right.
I
Clear
don't.
contradiction.
It's a clear contradiction.
Yeah, yeah. It makes you question what their understanding of Christianity really is, right?
Mm.
It's clearly different of how you see Christianity. So, is it even something that can be called Christianity? Who knows? I mean,
You can't, because
you can't, right?
Christianity has to be according to Christ. It has to be a
Right,
follower of Christ.
right,
You can't be a follower of Christ if you're not following after his footsteps. So
right.
that's why it's very confusing as to how they're even saying that it's okay for them to follow, but yet they revere Trump as a god. I think they revere him as a god.
Oh,
They-
without a doubt. Yeah,
so it's like, how do you revere him as a god and put up all these Trump signs and blue line matters and all of this, but yeah, you still want to say that you're a man of Christian beliefs.
yeah,
I mean,
without a doubt.
let's look back at the KKK with a big old poster of Jesus saves while they got a whole bunch of masks on, but
Without
they
a
were the
doubt.
Christians. And that
Mm-hmm.
has caused many black people today to say, oh, you know what? Christianity can't be, it's not for me, because
Right.
this is what they've tried to inject that into our minds in order for us to be, what's the word here? In order for us to be brainwashed, X, Y, and Z, to take away our culture. But Christianity came from Africa.
Right.
The origins, the roots were found in the southern areas of the world. It
Right.
wasn't found in Europe. If anything, they
Yeah.
took it and distorted it. And
Yeah.
I find it such a problem, man. Personally, as a Christian, as a pastor, to see this mischaracterization of Christianity.
Yeah, and you know I'm even thinking of when European nations set to colonize Africa. A
Mhm.
large motivation behind that was that they're showing them Jesus Christ. They're showing them Christianity, and they're trying to civilize these savages by showing them the ways
Yeah,
of Jesus. And I'm thinking of like all the different, sorts of domination that was justified by Christianity. And it just, I guess it shows like I guess it really is sort of evil if you think about it,
it
to sort
is
of use such a righteous, you know,
pure, innocent
yeah, yeah,
man.
to justify domination, worldly domination and worldly power. It's just it's just it's just one of the most, purest forms of sin that there could be, right? to use a figure like Jesus Christ to gain worldly power or to oppress another group. It's sad. It's really sad.
I actually like the way you said that, man. I find that very powerful.
Yeah.
I need to write that down. Say that one more time, bro.
I
It it is it
what
is cause the way you were talking about how it's so sad to see how people have
pe-
used,
a figure
yeah.
like like a righteous, pure, virtuous figure like Jesus Christ in the effort to gain worldly power or or to oppress another group. So much evil has been done in the name of Jesus Christ. And what I think what it does to the individual is it justifies everything. Oh, I killed this person, but I killed this person for Jesus. So now it's a good thing.
Mm,
Or I stole, but I stole for Jesus. So now it's a good thing. But I'm 1000% certain that is not how Christianity ought to be interpreted. And I think that if someone does call themselves a Christian and is truly trying to live in the steps of Christ, then they wouldn't they wouldn't support things like praying that Trump stays in power because Trump is somehow of a messiah figure, right?
and
I yeah,
and they
yeah.
ended up, I mean, that was a false prophecy anyway, because all of them said that Jesus was going to that God was going to make sure that he stays in presidency. Clearly he didn't. So so who's the false prophet?
Congratulations.
Gradually you played yourself.
Word up.
Oh man, yo, bro. So how do you what do you think, man? From this whole discussion, we're here. We've discussed from multiple sides of what have truly happened, and at this domestic terrorist attack in on January 6th at the U.S. Capitol. We've discussed uh, the distinguishing
BLM.
factors between BLM and this attack and the right protests. We've discussed truth and misinformation. We've even discussed um, the
Christianity.
Christianity and how that deals with this whole Trumpism and superiority complex. How do we what do we take from all of this, man? What do we take from this full discussion?
uh what do we take from all this? On a human level, maintain your mental peace and fight
Mercy.
for it, because it's gonna be hard to keep that, because I know these are, like I said, crazy times.
Mm,
And from a political standpoint, um I think it's gonna be an uphill battle for the next couple of years.
mm,
I think uh just like I said, keep your mental peace, and just stay aware of what's happening, so that you kind of know how you need to move if you see something that might be coming in the future. Can't it might not ever come, but just keep yourself prepared
mm.
mentally and consciously, you know.
I appreciate those words, man. That's deep. That's real.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt, bro. You know.
Man, yo, I'm gonna say, man, I really enjoyed this conversation, bro.
Yo, we should
Um,
do it again for real,
we
man.
yeah, we definitely need to, man. We definitely need to, man.
I'm down. And
It's
yo, before we head out too, yo, I just want to. I know some people left, but there was people who was asking questions in the chat. That was a cool little piece too, because I didn't
yeah, that
expect
was actually
people.
dope. Yeah,
Yeah, so shout out to everybody who's watching this and commented on the chat on Instagram. That kind of was dope too, to kind of involve themselves in the
yeah,
conversation.
that's
Yeah,
dope, man. I
word
appreciated
up.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Brandon, thank you so much for taking your time for us to have this deep conversation, man. I miss
yeah.
you, bro. I
I miss
wish
you
I wish
too,
I could
bro.
see you more, man. But we'll definitely link up when the time comes. Yeah, man. You've always had a deep mind. Like I say, you've
Yeah.
always challenged me in the way that I think, and
Thank you.
it's helped me in my life, man. So I want to start with this, and I'll end with that too, man. So once again, appreciate you, bro. I
Thank you.
appreciate you putting on me on to your channel, or
Yeah,
to your Instagram as well. We got Madcasters out here. We doing our thing,
word up.
and we're out here trying to make a difference every single day,
Right.
in order to make a difference in the world, change the world. Let's not be keyboard warriors and individuals who love to talk about problems but don't seek to change problems.
Mm.
And so Madcasters is focusing on being an active difference in the world. And so we highlight people and organizations that are making those active differences in order to inspire you and me, in order to inspire the world, everyone out there who is listening, to realize that they too can truly make a difference if they choose to stand up. So, yeah, man, appreciate that.
That's love.
And all
Thank
we're
you,
trying to
brother.
do, man. But this is Madcasters on my end, and brother, let's definitely do this again.
Without a doubt. And thank you so much for having me. Yo, for real, for real. You know, the love is universal, whether you be in
Yeah, bro.
Canada or United States, bro. So
Real.
thank you so much. I appreciate you for this.
No problem, man. Blessings. Blessings.
Yeah, peace, peace. All right, yo.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Madcasters. Please leave a positive review on the show if you like today's episode, and be sure to follow us on Madcasters at Instagram and also Madcasters on Facebook, where you'll be able to get updates, surveys, and many more surprises. Please go to madcasters.com, where you'll be able to access the shows, blogs, and book reviews. Also, spotlights of organizations that you can support and donate to as well. And if you would like to support Madcasters even more, please go to our Patreon page. It's Patreon, patreon.com/Madcasters. I'll be giving out a free book monthly to one of our Patreon supporters as well. And there are many more surprises to come for all those who are Patreon supporters. This is the end of our episode, but this is not the last. I promise you, Madcasters, we are about to have a blast. But don't forget, Madcasters, this is the launch pad for you to go mad.